darlings. Bunny Galore here, the queen of the cult movies. And welcome once again to another episode of Bunny and the Beast. I'm here with a delectable treat himself, the one, the only, the Beast. Hi, James.
Hello, Bunny. How are we?
Well, I think we're recording this just after London Pride. I think I'm still in one piece.
I'm definitely not. I am shattered into 1,000 pieces.
Yeah.
But what else is new?
Yeah, I thought I was doing... I had another podcast recording. Sorry, I've been cheating on you.
That is very fitting of all my relationships, actually.
It's almost funny because it's true. So...
it started early today, hasn't it? It started really early.
So I have no idea what I said on that podcast yesterday. And, you know, that's a really intelligent, thoughtful one, not like this. And,
Is that because of the guest?
yeah, we should introduce. We have a special treat for you today, my darlings.
Yes, we do. We have a very dear friend. They are an actor. They are a playwright. They are a first-class arsehole. For our YouTube viewers, no, it is not Sue Perkins. It is my wonderful friend, the wonderfully talented, the Irish Samantha Jones herself, Adam Hannigan.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
I feel like we should have a round of applause there. Like, clap, clap, clap. But you already have the clap, so it's fine.
Oh,
Pending.
okay.
Test at home.
So to introduce to the audience, I think we've talked about you on the podcast before because you have written and directed and starring in I Like a Girl. That does everything, like myself. In Game Night, the show that James is on. So, did James do the very first version of Game Night? This is the 5th. Am I right with this?
It's the 5th time I've done it. Right. So I think it's the 7th time you've done it.
Yeah.
That horse just does not die.
No.
Really, and I keep trying to kill it myself. We've had the character that James plays is called Sheehan. We've had 3 actors now play that.
Oh,
cool.
Okay.
It's cursed.
It's cursed. We have my friend Blair Gibson, very talented, not in Game Night, deadpan. And then we casted Ollie, who was Amy's partner, because we were just desperate for a role. But then the pandemic happened. Fun for everyone. But we got James, so we were trying to cast professionally, make it fair, like on all the platforms. And let's just say the talent that was coming through wasn't what we needed. And then at the time, Ryan, who is also on the show, was working at Everyman Cinemas. And his boss had a little boyfriend at the time who was an out-of-work actor. Enter James. It was less that you passed the audition, it was that we had no other options. So I actually still have you saved on my phone as Ryan's boss's boyfriend.
Do you really?
Yeah, that's what you're saved on my phone as still. I was going to change it. I was like, that's kind of fun.
Adam's greatest achievement in our, if you can say friendship, acquaintanceship, is that he saved me from a terrible relationship.
Oh, that one.
You're
Okay.
welcome.
Yeah.
I'm a brutal friend, but I'm honest. I don't care.
You don't care. You need to have feeling to care.
I have feelings sometimes. I just keep them somewhere else. I just don't always bring them out on the table.
Very, very wise, darling. Game Night, I presumed it was a lockdown thing, so it was going before that.
Yeah,
When did you first write it up?
I wrote it in 2017, and we first premiered it in 2018 at the Drayton Arms Theatre in Kensington.
Right, okay.
And it was a little 40-minute version, very short. A lot of the stuff that you would see in it now were never in it.
Okay.
Even actually the character of Sheehan, it was a very one-dimensional character, and
As
I wanted
opposed
to add.
to...
I wanted to add depth, but you get what you get. You know
Uphill
what I mean?
struggle, yes.
Yeah.
I'm having so many regrets by introducing you two together now. But it's fine.
But yeah, so it was a one-act show, and it went quite well. Right. And then I felt like I always wanted it to be a 2-act version, but French theatre is always so restricted on time.
Normally, yes, you especially with Edinburgh, isn't it? You've got to keep it down to under an hour.
I mean, don't get me wrong, if you've got money, the world's your oyster, but I do not. And then we were doing it again at the Union Theatre before the pandemic happened. And I had adapted it a little bit because a lot of the jokes we like to update as pop culture changes and things like that. Like with the printed script that I've published, there's like certain sections that are italicized, so anyone who takes the play can adapt it themselves and change.
Plug. The play is available for purchase.
Yeah.
Yes, I was just going to say.
Contact me on Instagram, please. I need to set up a website. But yeah,
that's a great idea. Well done. That's really good.
Self-publishing as well. It's the way forward these days. When it's your first stuff, it's much easier. And then I finally got to adapt it because we were doing Above the Stag, which was like a dream venue for
Yeah,
that
that would've
kind of
been
show.
perfect.
Yeah.
It was going to be our biggest run.
Yeah, unfortunately, they closed down.
Yeah.
But
It's just selfish, really.
no, but the thing is, they are actually so supportive of us. Like, they even donated that big screen for
Yeah.
everyone and stuff. They're really lovely people. I love working with them, and I hope in the future I've
Yes.
opened doors that we can.
Well,
work
I feel
together.
like they will come back because Above the Stag was originally Above the Stag, by
Yeah,
the
it was-
Victoria Palace. When I was working there, it was
In which century?
in 1842. It was all trees at that
I was going
point.
to make the joke, but I was like, we don't know each other well enough.
Me and Nell Gwyn would work in the bar.
Then, because I got a job at Wonderville as the manager, they needed more work and they wanted it to be quite a queer space. And I was like, hello, I've got something.
Oh my God, that's perfect.
Yeah.
And that's your specialty is queer writing.
Yes, very, very much
Yeah.
so. In any genre, I find a way to make it queer. Like, because I love horror, I love comedy and stuff, and I always make it queer.
Why do you think there's such an affinity with queer audiences in horror? Do you
I've always said, I think it's the final girl.
Hmm.
That idea of like surviving through trauma of some
Yeah.
sort. I think it's really
Yes.
cool. I think that's really what it is.
That's so interesting.
That's a really good way of putting it. I, in a general way, for any audience, I think it's a roller coaster of emotion. It makes you laugh, it makes you jump, it makes you kind of, it's an emotional release. I think horror, but with the queer audiences, I do think it's a little bit more to do with the underdog and get to
Yeah.
the end. And so that's a really interesting way of doing it.
And I think as well, like the final girl in films usually tends to be the victim for something that's not their problem, not their
Yes,
fault, and it's
yes.
kind of like mirrored on like how some people treat the gay community, kind of thing.
Yeah,
like that. Like,
totally, yeah,
that it's a
that's it.
problem that you've caused when it's not. I
Yeah,
think that.
no, very true, very true.
And would you tell the listeners what your drag name is, please, Adam?
Yes, you said it the other day. Sydney Press's Cox. It's my Sydney Prescott and Courtney Cox because Scream is my all-time favorite movie.
Oh, I actually didn't link. I didn't link the Sidney Prescott and Courtney Cox
No, I didn't
link.
either.
I was just thinking about Dick.
Yeah.
But what else is new?
Folks.
Well, no change there, darlings.
No, literally no change whatsoever.
Which reminds me, how was your weekend?
My weekend was beautiful. I am still husky and sore
Yes, you
in
are.
my voice.
In your voice, yes, of course you are.
To clarify, in my voice, but otherwise, it was a lovely day. Lots of glitter, lots of mesh, lots of fringe.
Lots of friends.
Frange. But yeah, it was all good fun.
We didn't get to see each other, did we? Unfortunately, couldn't. I was holed up in the Halfway to Heaven venue, seeing mates perform, and you couldn't get out. It was like one of those. If you left, you couldn't get back in. So
Oh.
I think.
So I started at halfway. I started at halfway.
Oh,
to
did
heaven.
you?
Yeah,
Oh, I must have just missed you.
probably.
Was that about 3?
We were there with before Miss Penny
Yeah.
went on, and then before, Mrs. Moore even got her face on.
We literally must have just walked past each other. That's
Probably.
so weird. But you were.
Or you saw me and you hid.
Sounds about right.
I wasn't
It does, doesn't it?
that, Adam, but it might be true.
We'll talk about it later.
Yeah, exactly. So.
Go okay, come on, punching bags out. Come on, get your claws out.
Oh, now enough about your grinder name. So.
No, I got banned off Grinder.
Did you?
Have I? I've not told you the story.
It's my fault.
It's Adam's fault.
Report him.
It's Adam's fault.
What?
So we were at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival last year doing game night. I was not on apps searching for anything.
Sure.
No, actually wasn't. Like I'm about to swear, so I'm kind of trying to stop myself.
Okay.
Fuck off. So I was like, okay. Well, apart from Edinburgh, they literally carted me around in short shorts and a tank top selling the show. On Grindr, it was basically a topless photo promoting the show. And then because I was promoting the show with a link, they were like, you've broken our community guidelines.
Can you just make a new email?
Yeah, but also I don't want to go on Grindr.
No, you
No, I don't need to.
don't. So you survived a whole Edinburgh run with this one,
I did.
Adam. So
I sold the hell out of that show.
I mean, he did. Sex sells.
I actually sent a photograph to the one where it's just you covering yourself. I guess you've got like a thong or something underneath. with
Oh no,
the
just
flyers.
tiny little pants.
Yeah, with the
Was it
flyers
still
over
a
your.
day?
Yeah.
Some friends to get them to come and see it last Thursday, and it was like literally that was what I said. I went, come and see the show.
Listeners will put it on the Instagram.
Yeah, yes,
We
exactly.
did. We paid advertising with that picture through ear to ear.
No, you
We
didn't.
did. Thought we got permission, so we'll talk about that later.
I've been violated, and not in the fun way.
And that was just this weekend.
It was. So you survived Edinburgh. Edinburgh is brilliant. I was saying just before we started the podcast that I did it in 2008 as Bonnie Galore, trying to do like a Jinx Monsoon type of show, but 2 years before Drag Race. So much as I loved it, I went in 2007 and it's like theatrical DNA being pumped into your veins, isn't it? It's just everything you ever want. But doing it is a very different experience than watching it, I think. And doing it, no matter what you think it's going to be, it's more exhausting and more... And people warn me about certain problems, and I managed to avoid those, but I made all these new ones instead. But it's weird because, and why I wanted to talk to you about it was I did a sketch as part of the show, which was filmed, called Pantry Manor, which is a takeoff of Crossroads, the soap opera, a bit like Victoria Wood's Acorn Antiques. And weirdly, that's the thing that had the legs from the Edinburgh show. That became like my YouTube show in the days when it was just me and a load of cat videos. And so the people weren't using it as a TV station then. I was. Nobody else was. So that's the thing. But I then brought in friends that I'd worked with. And I guess you've kind of... some people that you're working with game night you've worked with before?
Yes. Well, so obviously we're a company, Ear to Ear Productions. So me, Amy, Tef. So Tef plays Claire, Amy plays Kate. We all started the company together for our dissertation at university.
Right.
We all went to university together. And then Jensen joined just before the pandemic, 2019, might have been 2020, because he's very good with like business and stuff like that. And then obviously Ryan I've known for far too long. So we grew up together in Ireland.
Yes.
So he was in the show. And then Jimmy, I never worked with Jimmy as an actor before.
And you still haven't.
And now I see why, yeah. I worked with him at Drury Lane Theatre just as ushers and on the bar. And I originally wanted him, now looking back, I don't know why I would ever wanted it, but I wanted him to play the Wolf Jacob originally.
Really?
He read it and was like...
The boy, the husband, the fiance.
Your character's husband,
yes,
right?
Yeah.
Well, kind of. He's got that. Yeah, I guess he's got kind of a solid vibe.
Yeah, but he just suits Tom.
Oh my gosh,
so much
hilarious!
better. But he read it and
Absolutely
he was like, "I want to be Tom," and I was like, "Well, I still need to cast that role, so that's fine." But then obviously when we did it in Edinburgh, it was Jimmy. We have 2 Jimmys.
Basically, everyone's called James in this show.
Oh my god, they
Really
are, aren't they?
But I don't go by Jim. I've never gone by Jimmy or Jim or anything like that. I've always just gone by James. Whereas Jimmy and Jimmy go by Jimmy and Jimmy.
There's many other nicknames for you, darling. We just can't say them on a podcast.
Go on, give me 5.
Whore,
Disappointment.
slut.
So we've got whore, slut, disappointment. 2 more.
They're just from your mom as well, those 3.
Come on, you've got 2 more knocking around in there.
Oh God, you put me on the spot. I'll leave them for later.
Okay.
Another podcast, another day.
Oh my god. Reining it back in.
Yeah.
Is this your first play?
No, this is my 3rd play.
Okay.
It's the first one that's reached this magnitude.
Right. Okay.
I'm gonna say success, but it's on platforms.
Yeah, you should be very proud of it. So enjoy the moment, because in years to come, this will be a real time of your life when you went, oh. Now, it might carry on. You might carry on doing it. I don't know what you're planning on doing with it.
Unless we can get some financial backing behind us, there's no other direction we can take it, because anywhere from here would just be a step back.
Yeah, of course.
The two directions I'd like to take it is, I've pitched a pilot idea for it to be a mini comedy series on screen, or a larger West End stage, basically.
I think actually you're right. I think probably it's. I know because the inspiration is from TV. What's your favourite sitcoms then? Do you think
It's very Friends and Will and Grace.
So I'm so glad you said Will and Grace, because I was listening to a comedian, Mark. What's the name of it? He's just started one. Puffs Are Us was his.
Oh yes, Mark.
Sorry, Mark.
Yeah, that's
Thank
at Brittlestone.
you.
Yeah, because he does a lot of stuff with Chris Hall.
Yes.
They'll do the
Chris Hall was
LGBT
lovely. They're
thing.
both 2 people I discovered during the. I'm sure we all did during the pandemic on the internet. And
I did West End Bears with Chris Hall.
did you?
He was a dancer in one of the pieces that I was in the Wizard of Oz theme.
I did bump into. I've not met Mark yet, but it's funny how you just know people online, isn't it? But they've started a new podcast, and in the 2nd episode, they did not know what Will and Grace was. Or they never watched it. They did know what it was.
Gay sacrilege.
I know. I was like,
Yeah.
Could you be more Millennium Gen Z than not knowing what?
How
Will
do
and
you
Grace
be
is?
gay and not know what Will and Grace
I know,
is?
it's crazy, isn't it? I think filming it would be a great idea.
Yeah, I've pitched it once or twice. Once this run's done, I can actually take time to really do it properly. But I pitched it. The idea would be like 6-episode miniseries, but every season is the one night, so each episode picks up directly after the other one, and it's like a platform that's not been done before for a comedy series. So
That's a great idea.
So like each episode would end on
Yeah.
a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
The next episode would begin right afterwards.
Yeah.
Then each season would be a different night.
Anyone listening? We've coined it here.
And please.
I know the BBC would love that. Especially BBC Three.
I sent it to someone in BBC Three, I think it was, and they did reply saying they liked it, but they were wanting something a bit more. They used the word quirky, which I hate that word.
Why'd you hate the word
Quirky
quirky?
just means weird. It's
Oh.
a nice way of saying weird. That's what it means. I'm sorry. No one's like, oh, your hair's quirky. It means your hair's weird. Let's just call a spade a spade.
That's how I describe your fashion sense.
Oh,
I'll take it.
shots fired.
But then again, it's not like you know what fashion is. So. You wear a mustard top almost every day.
And how many times have I saved that show by wearing the same mustard top?
No, you save it by taking the top off.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
the shorts, though. The Act 2 shorts that made me go like, oh, hello, morning. That's quite revealing. That and I think someone, you might have posted it on the Game Night socials, was the full-on, like, right between the legs shot.
Yeah.
That seems to be, I think that needs to be the next poster.
Well, is this when you're doing Twister?
Yeah, when I'm in
Yeah.
downward dog and I'm literally putting my head in between my legs. I didn't know I was so bendy.
None of us ever knew he did that because we don't see what's happening.
Oh,
So
I
that was the first
see.
time I saw that.
I've only added it on this time around.
that's good.
So I was literally saying it last night, like, so the way that I describe game night is with Shane and Jacob. They're the ones, I found it, when we first did it, I found it really hard to play that character, which is so hard because it's so unlike me. But it's like evolved every single time and it's always been a different edge and something different inspiring it. But this time around, I'm like, this Shane's could be the flirtiest Shane there ever was. Other times I'm like, oh, he feels really uncomfortable. He's like scared of this character, or he's scared of this, but he's like, now he's just up for anything.
Yeah, I can see that.
But it's like, it's fun to, with a character that's so based in reality, like him and Jacob actually ground the piece because everyone is so caricature.
Yes.
It's fun to actually push the boundaries a little bit with it. I guess have my liberty with it.
I think out of the piece, so to the listeners, it involves, the plot is you're about to be engaged to your boyfriend, aren't you? You announce the engagement.
Yeah, we're
That's
announcing
it.
engagement, yeah.
And it's revealed, I don't think this is spoilers particularly, is that your boyfriend's sister has invited his ex-boyfriend along, which is played by James,
Yeah.
as a wild card, basically. And hilarity ensues. So
And anything that goes wrong, goes wrong.
yeah, and I've only just noticed that actually your two characters are kind of a bit more grounded, although because obviously you're playing it, James. It's a bit more heightened, but
I think I'd say because you're playing it, it's a bit more simple.
we can use your word. Broad.
Another word.
Go on.
Simple.
Okay, there's the fourth one.
Up to 4. Yeah, so that's the crutch. But I think actually those two characters are quite similar in the sense they are more grounded. Yours, I think, speaks to every gay man that has a little bit of zhuzh about them.
Yeah.
Mainly because your first entrance, I went, ooh, lovely blouse.
Do
Time I saw it, I was like, oh,
you like it?
as a sum up a character.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
okay.
was like,
Jensen made it.
yeah, it's really clever.
did, yes, he
Yeah.
did.
Oh, was it made? That's because
Yeah.
it's 2 shirts put together.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, ASOS made it, and then we altered it.
It sums it up really well. So I went, that is very quick character study where you could just go, yeah, I totally get who that is now. And highly strung, tightly wound character.
I think the amazing thing about game night is that anyone watching it, you can. It's like watching Friends or Will and Grace. Like that was your initial interpretation, I assume, was to put a sitcom on stage. But like how we watch Friends and how we watch Will and Grace, we go, oh, I know that person. I know a Monica, I know a Chandler, I know a Joey, I know a Grace, I know a Phoebe, I know. You watch that show and you go, I know people just like these characters.
Yeah.
Obviously, they are caricature and they are heightened versions, but it's like they are based off real life stereotypes.
Yeah,
True.
It's even like, like in Sex and the City, everyone's like, which one are you? Are you
Yes.
Samantha? But that's the biggest like feedback I get after the show is people are like, oh, I'm such a Claire. Oh, I'm such a this. I'm such. People are like wanting to be each character.
It's the one question I ask people, being like, oh, if you're going to be in it, who would you be?
Yeah.
And speaking of Sex and the City, which one would you say you were?
I get told. So I feel like everyone jumps to say that they're Samantha, but I get told I'm Samantha. But I also think I'm a lot of Miranda as well. I'm kind of the honest friend.
Yeah.
Okay. Who would you cast Bunny as? For someone you've met half an hour ago.
I don't know. I would say a Miranda or a Charlotte.
I'm probably a bit more. I think I'm Charlotte in the streets and probably Samantha in the street in the bed.
And me?
Magda?
Stanley.
I don't even know who that is. I've not seen the series.
Actually, oh my God. No,
We're just talking about gays who don't watch shows properly. Watch
Okay.
Sex and the City.
You know what the actual concept...
I am what we call a hypocrite, okay?
Fifth word.
So... So out of everything that you've... So at the moment, darling, you're a director, producer, writer and actor. And do you comedy? Do you do stand-up comedy or is it just in comedic
I did it at
acting?
uni because we had an
All right.
assessment and I loved it, but terrifying. So I've never done it. since.
Yeah, Buddy Law did one gig, 1996, as a stand-up comedian. I will never do it again without hiding behind songs and the rest of the paraphernalia. that I
Behind
do.
a character. At least
Behind a
you're being
character.
funny.
Well, you would think it would be easier. In other words, I could probably do it now.
Yeah.
1996, not so much. Apparently, you have to write material. Who knew back then? Out of all those disciplines, do you have a favourite?
I mean, I love acting, but I think I'm probably stronger at writing.
Right. Okay.
Pause.
Yeah, directing. The only time I do enjoy directing, and I've directed some pieces that weren't mine. But the main reason I direct is because I found in the past from some of my previous shows, if I write a story, I've got such a mindset for it that I need to direct it.
Right.
I had like kind of a mentor at uni, and she said to me, she was like, I asked her to direct my first ever show, and she was like, I can't direct this. This is your image, and it'll never be perfect unless you direct it. And that can be a
Sure.
lot of work,
Yeah.
but it was the right thing. That
Yeah,
needed
no,
to
I get
hear.
it.
So I am quite, as a writer, I'm not very good at giving my work away.
I know.
the
Same.
minute they
Same.
change it, I'm
I
like,
agree.
it's not
Yeah.
funny anymore.
No, I know. It's. I think you have with writing. I have to do it with the rhythm in mind and the rhythm of the people that I know that are going to be playing
Yeah.
the roles in mind. I find it quite. If I can't, I've got the voices in my head basically. If I don't have that, I can't write.
Yeah.
And therefore, I'm a complete control freak over anything I do. However, sometimes I think it is important to get a director to come in and.
I always get like a
outside.
guest one,
Yeah.
give outside of opinion and stuff, and that's Jensen steps in as
Right,
co-director
okay.
of Hannigan. But yeah, no, I think it's important to get other people's perspective as well. And I think the good thing about game night is we've all got the same sense of humor. So we've all got the same kind of, like, we get it. Like, we know, oh, this works. Sometimes someone will give an idea and I'm like, let's try it, and it doesn't work. And because I think with game night, we're always playing on the cusp of going too crazy.
There is a very fine line on taking it from where it's at to then just full on ridiculousness.
Yeah, I like that, as you said, with the grounded characters, the craziness still lies on that line of reality.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
totally.
Do you know what I mean?
I always found, because everybody wanted to do Pantry Manor, they always wanted to come and do guest spots on it, and it was like, oh, okay, but you have to play it, even though we look quite insane, and you have to play it straight, but be.
Have you ever done that?
So in comedy,
Yeah.
you can play a straight character in comedy, as in you're not going over the top with it. It's like
Wait, it's this thing called acting.
yeah.
Oh, now I get it.
Oh, there we go. No, it's as in. Yeah. So it's unaware of your situation, unaware of what's going on. So you'll play it truthfully, and then it's funnier. So if you start, in other words, if you start doing silly voices and start being disconnected, I think that's when it falls apart.
Yeah.
And I've cut them from the versions that go out now in America. So 'cause it's like,
Apologies to Kitty Scott Claus and Ophelia Love.
that was just joyous doing a show with those two. I would just laugh. I think my cheeks were aching because of Kitty a lot of the time, because he just, not in any rude way, just because it's the things they would come out with.
So my friend did one of their first panto jobs with Kitty Scott
Oh,
Claus
did they?
before Kitty was
Yeah,
born,
yeah.
or at her
In
infancy,
Hastings?
probably.
She did Hastings.
And so RuPaul on a Graham Norton was like, his favourite thing to do when someone comes back from the toilet to mess with them goes, just say it to her face then.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Kitty Scott Claus does the same thing, but someone comes in and goes, oh my God, Bunny, Adam does the best impression of you. Show him your impression. Show your impression. And then so Bunny would be like, you have an impression. He's like, no, I don't have an impression. So it just escalates and escalates.
I would. Oh my goodness.
Stealing.
Doing something like that.
I think you should. It'd be
I'm
brilliant.
gonna make my own one.
Yeah. So what's it like backstage on game night? Give the audience.
Well, Adam's never backstage.
Yeah, I spend most of the time on Yeah,
I mean, pre-show. I mean, as into you.
Oh, we have little pre-show rituals, don't we?
Do you allow James in the dressing rooms, basically? Or do you have
well, the
James in
show
fire
starts at
escape?
8 and he arrives about 7:45. So
It's a really anxious hour because I can't finish. No one can cover me at work.
Oh, I see.
So I'm literally rushing getting Uber.
it was worse when we did it in Wonderville in January because the show started at 7:30.
No, it didn't.
It did. It never started at 8. It started at 7:30 back then, and you got there at about 7:20 every day. And I was stressed.
I saw that one, didn't I?
This time-
Yes, that was the first time you saw it.
Yeah.
But even when I first did game night, before show week, you were like, "Okay, kids," because you have to call us kids. Kids, no one's going out this weekend. No one's partying. No one's doing anything. You have to stay under lock and key, wrap yourself in bubble wrap. And there's a story because of why.
Yeah, because my second show, which was the first time I ever tried to write a show and give it away,
Sure.
didn't direct.
You like to give it away usually.
Anyway,
I'll pay for that in 5 minutes.
yeah, you will. But yeah, so I was going up to do the show, and then so it was in the Brighton Fringe,
Right. Oh, yeah.
and the night before the show, the lead actress went on a night out and snapped her ankle. And she couldn't walk, and she was like, "I can still do the show," and she was like hobbling. I was like, "No, you need to go to a hospital." She put so much money into it, so we couldn't cancel the show. So the only option, her character was called Maria. The only option was to change it to Martin, and I just had to walk on stage and be her.
Oh, my God.
And so, if I'm remembering correctly from last night, wasn't there a massive plot point for Maria's character in the play?
Her and her partner weren't having sex, and they were. Having
That sounds familiar.
problems. And then, and then it got revealed, and she had this big monologue that the reason she wasn't having sex is because she was struggling with endometriosis. Which, although it's a comedy, I wanted to raise a lot of awareness to this thing because I have friends who suffer from that and stuff. But yeah, so I walked on stage and I was like, "Oh my God, what am I supposed to say? Why wouldn't I be having sex with my partner?" Trigger warning to listeners. I literally just turned, and the actor Curtis, who was playing the partner, I just turned around and I was like, "It's because I've been sexually assaulted by my uncle." And I just saw Curtis's face being like, "Adam." I was like, I don't know what else to say, and it was a very horrible experience.
Is that one of your most favourite moments on stage of like when shows go wrong, or is there another one?
No,
shows
I like
go
when
wrong?
shows go wrong and you can save them. That was just a train wreck of an experience.
Do you have a favourite show moment from game night when it went
wrong.
Yeah, when it went wrong. Because I have one.
Probably when Tiff walked on stage. So our first ever show was my character was Connor. We haven't done that show since like 2015.
Right.
And for some reason during game night, obviously my character called Michael, Tiff walked on and went, "Hey Connor," and then just stared at me as if like, "Oh my God, what have I done?"
I've just flipped back into a different version of the show.
and we haven't spoken about that show.
Ah.
But I was able to save it because Claire's always horrible to Michael. So I was like, that's not my name.
Clever. I love that relationship between you.
And then it worked, and we actually ended up keeping it in that run anyway for every night that we did it. She came in, give a new name.
So this is
right?
the sister of your boyfriend
Yes.
in the show.
The horrible.
And you have a delicious love-hate relationship.
It's just hate.
of you.
Yeah.
It's just hate.
Yeah, when I say the word love, actually, I don't know where that actually came from. It was just hate.
Yeah.
It's
It's like all of us in the cast. It's just a hate relationship.
yeah, God,
We are. It's funny because Elliot is the newest actor, and I think it took him quite a while to feel comfortable because we just bully each other so. But it's out of love.
It's always out of love, and we literally rip into each other every single day of the week. And I said to Elliot, "How long did it take you to realise that this is how we show love and affection?" He was like, "About 5 minutes."
But the funniest thing is he started getting comfortable doing it now. But because he's been so nice, I was like, "Excuse me,"
It's quite shocking.
I'll see. He doesn't do it to me.
Does he speak to
because
you?
you're never there backstage.
Right. So, my favourite story from game night
go
going
on,
wrong.
go on.
I can't hold it together on stage, even if someone looks at me differently.
The worst.
I cannot hold it together. I corpse anytime. I can't hold anything together. I'm a mess.
It's an empty vase.
Welcome to the House of Mess. So, it was Edinburgh Fringe. We used to have a spit take.
Right.
We used to have a spit take choreographed in, and it was supposed to be Ryan Rory's character. I can't remember what part
It's
it
hard
was.
to do a spit take properly on stage.
Did we?
Yeah, we had a. Oh well,
show.
your show. You don't know. It was right before my emotional bit with Claire, and Ryan said some sort of line, and then he took a sip of water and then spat it into Jimmy's mouth, into his face, And this one time he took the sip, gagged and choked on it. I couldn't say his line. And he was like speaking like this.
I remember that actually.
And I was supposed to be really emotional and really sad. And I couldn't do it without laughing. And it was also the time when he goes, yeah, I have no gag reflex as well. Which 30 seconds ago proved that he did.
Uh-oh. Sabotage!
Sabotaged.
By himself. Oh, bless him. I think in comedy, what is funny, isn't it? What would make us as performers laugh is normally something silly happening and we can't stop laughing. The audience, on the other hand, will laugh at an arc lamp hitting somebody, like something we would be mortified by.
Yeah.
But it's the strange, silly little things that the audience don't normally get to see because it'd be something out of the ordinary normally. And but I can imagine you being quiet. Are you easy to make laugh, do you think, on stage?
On stage, no, I'm quite good.
You're really good. I'm so bad.
The thing that makes me laugh is all the people laughing.
Right.
So if people start corpsing, then I'm
Then
like,
you're going to go.
yeah, but
Do you have a problem learning your own lines? I don't, because if I've written everything and I'm worried about everybody else, where the lights are, where the camera is, and then I'm sitting there going, oh shit, what did I write for myself?
It happened to you last week. Act 2 just disappeared out of his head.
I have never been so scared on stage. That was not fun. I'm shouting at his character, so it's
Obviously.
no different than backstage. But and
Or in
just
life.
Yeah.
every word in the English language just left my body, and I was staring at him, and I was like, "Oh my god!" And thankfully, you saved me, and thankfully, people didn't notice. Like I asked the audience people, they all just thought it was like my character getting emotional because I was really struggling and grasping for words, so it just looked like I was getting flustered as my character. But yeah, I just forgot everything, and I was like, I don't know the script. I don't know it. And then for the rest of the act, I was terrified.
But I think it's our pre-show ritual on us all having a vodka shot beforehand, and we all
Is
play.
that an actual thing? 'Cause I remember, because I have this. Oh, by the way, you have a podcast as well, don't you? You have.
Yes,
You
we
have
do. Just for this run, so we got a game night podcast where we interview a different cast member after each week, and we talk about how that week
And
went.
it's just called Game Night
I think it's called the Game Night Podcast. Yeah, we're not very original.
on.
Like the jokes.
Just
So-
replace me. Replace him, sorry, and just keep me in. It's fine.
Oh,
The title is Bunny and the Beast.
if it wasn't that,
It's for a different reason.
do you really think I wouldn't have replaced him by now if it wasn't in the title?
Similar to how you didn't have anyone for Shane originally, but he has no one to be the Beast now.
Exactly.
So you're just someone's last choice all the time.
Oh yeah. Good job I have therapy this week.
Yay.
So, if you were going to be an inanimate object in the Beast Castle today, what would you be and why?
So I think this week, because it's very inspiring having Adam here, so I'm going to be a lovely ornate book, because I'm going to read James to filth. No change there, baked potatoes, no.
Oh, to be fair, it's going to be a picture book, isn't it?
Yeah.
So,
Colouring in book, Dan. Colouring in book. And I always colour within the lines.
oh, do you? That's what blonde floppy hair number 57 said.
Yeah, that's true. Shh.
And I would also be a book. I'd also be a book.
What would you be?
I'd be the script for game night so Adam doesn't forget his lines.
Ah, there we go.
I'll be a lovely lamp because I love to shade you on a regular basis.
Brilliant. So come back next week, darlings, for more Bunny and the Beast.